Have you ever wished to be someone who is truly unshakable? Someone who doesn't crumble under criticism, rejection, or betrayal? Have you fantasized about the day when you'll finally silence that relentless inner voice, that anguish gnawing at your soul, even when you smile on the outside? Maybe you're exhausted from the performance, tired of maintaining that image of strength, when all you want is one moment to breathe without the crushing weight of being untouchable. Here's the brutal truth no one dares to tell you. As long as you're running from pain, it owns you completely. As long as you numb yourself, hide yourself, protect yourself, you remain a hostage to every cutting word, every disappointing action, every silence that tears you apart inside. Carl Jung, the revolutionary depth psychologist, revealed something profound. We are not what happens to us, but what we choose to become. True strength isn't about building walls. It isn't about becoming cold, indifferent, or untouchable. It's about integration, bringing everything that affects you in the darkness into the light. Because real strength isn't the absence of pain. It's complete awareness of who you are, even when you're bleeding. If you've made it this far, it's no accident. This is for you, the one tired of being emotionally hijacked by everything and everyone. The one who feels perpetually disadvantaged, as if others possess some mysterious power over you that you can't understand. I'm about to show you that it doesn't have to be this way. But first, you must face truths that will cut deep. And perhaps for the first time, this pain will actually set you free. In others' actions, their poorly chosen words, the abandonments you've endured, the betrayals you never saw coming. The truth is devastating. None of this has real power to hurt you unless there's already an open wound inside you. What destroys you isn't what others do. It's what these experiences activate within you. It's the story you tell yourself. It's the old trauma you've never addressed. It's the emptiness you disguise with strength, with pride, with that desperate need to appear well-adjusted. Jung revealed that external pain is merely a reflection of what remains unintegrated in your internal world. That's why some people survive devastating situations with clarity intact, while others shatter from a simple comment. It's not about what happens. It's about where it hits you. Here's an uncomfortable truth that will shake your foundation. You still suffer because you believe you can control how the world treats you. You're still trying to be good enough, smart enough, strong enough, understanding enough, as if that guarantees protection from pain. Control is an illusion, and clinging to it keeps you in constant tension, trying to predict the unpredictable, trying to avoid the inevitable. Want to stop suffering? Stop protecting yourself from suffering. What you need isn't more control, it's more awareness. As long as you believe people need to change for your pain to stop, you remain enslaved by others' actions. Your freedom begins the moment you understand this. Everything from outside only has power if it finds an echo within you. And this brings us to the real battlefield, the unconscious. What you don't see, don't understand, and don't master, masters you. Are you ready to dive deeper? Because that's where true transformation begins. The biggest lie you've swallowed is that you control your life. Wake up, you don't. At least not while you live on autopilot, reacting without knowing why, feeling without understanding the source, making decisions you later sabotage. Jung was crystal clear. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This is your reality right now. The pain you feel, the anger that explodes from nowhere, the sadness that invades without explanation, none of this is random. These are messages from forgotten, ignored, repressed parts of yourself. Jung called this dark territory, the unconscious, not just vague thoughts, but an active force, an entire system of memories, traumas, desires, and fears you refuse to face. Yet they continue deciding what you feel and how you act. Why do certain words destroy you while others remain unaffected? Because those words strike sensitive points within you that are still alive, still unconfronted, still festering under your psychological rug. Jung said, "We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses." What have you been doing? Judging yourself, repressing yourself, silencing yourself as if that would solve anything. The unconscious doesn't vanish because you ignore it. It finds more dangerous ways to manifest. In toxic relationship patterns you repeat. In self-sabotage you can't break. In anxieties that arise when everything seems perfect. This isn't bad luck. It's your unconscious trying to wake you up, but you insist on sleeping. Most people believe the only way to avoid pain is closing themselves off. They build walls, create masks, develop emotional armor, and declare, "I don't care anymore. Nothing gets to me." But inside, they continue bleeding. The problem was never about feeling, it's about not knowing what you're feeling and why. Jung was precise. Know all the theories, master all the techniques, but when touching a human soul, be just another human soul. That human soul you hide behind a strong and vulnerable character, it's screaming to be seen. Becoming emotionally strong has nothing to do with being cold. It has nothing to do with ignoring pain, avoiding conflict, or pretending not to care. It's about integration, about acceptance, about bringing everything you've buried in darkness into the light. You don't become untouchable by creating barriers between yourself and the world. You become untouchable when you realize no one can touch what has already been embraced within you. When you integrate your shadows, fears, flaws, insecurities, you stop reacting to everything. You observe. You choose. You're no longer an emotional puppet. That is true freedom. You learn to hate pain from childhood. You were taught suffering signals weakness. Crying wastes time. Feeling too much makes you vulnerable. So you began running, avoiding, denying. But the more you flee suffering, the more it chases you. Worse, its shape shifts into anxiety, anger, apathy, boredom, self-destructive impulses you can't even understand. Ignored pain doesn't disappear. It digs tunnels inside you until everything collapses without warning. Jung saw suffering completely differently. He believed pain was the soul's messenger, the unconscious alarm, the language your true self uses to get your attention. He said, "Depression is like a lady in black. If she appears, Don't push her away. Invite her to sit down, offer her coffee, and listen to what she has to say. But you don't listen. You silence, distract, busy, numb yourself anything to avoid what really matters. What is this pain trying to show you? Suffering only hurts so much because you're at war with yourself. Part of you wants to grow. Another part wants everything to stay the same. Something inside cries for transformation, but your ego, addicted to control, tries to suffocate that call. Pain is born from this friction. Change hurts. Growth hurts. Letting go of old beliefs, cutting toxic ties, allowing what no longer serves you to die, all of this is mourning, an internal process of death and rebirth. But it's precisely in this space of ruin that something new can be born. Few have the courage to begin individuation. Even fewer have the courage to complete it. This path promises no comfort, offers no guarantees, protects no egos. It destroys them. Jung referred to individuation as becoming who you are, but this means unlearning what you think you are. And that hurts more than any external rejection. You discover that much of what defined you was illusion. You're not your achievements, your traumas, the image you constructed to be loved or admired. That was survival gear. But surviving isn't living. Individuation requires dissolving the persona, Jung's term, for the mask of collective convenience. You must tear off your own skin to discover what lies beneath. This is where you become truly untouchable. Not because nothing affects you, but because you've walked through fire. You've faced your monsters, looked into the eyes of your shame, neediness, anger, and declared, "I see you. You no longer control me." This internal clarity, this lucidity facing your own darkness, gives you strength independent of approval, recognition, or control. You no longer need universal love. You don't need to win every argument or appear strong constantly. Because you know who you are, and no one can take that away. Now that you've come this far, understand this clearly. Nothing will shield you from external suffering if you remain unconscious of your internal reality. Words will keep hurting. Rejections will keep stinging. Losses will keep bringing you down until you awaken. Awakening isn't magical. It's a daily choice. Looking within when it hurts. Taking responsibility for everything you feel without blaming others, the past or fate. Jung said, "What you resist persists. What you accept transforms." You've spent your life resisting fear of inadequacy, emptiness of rejection, pain of loneliness, anguish of invisibility. You hid, silenced yourself, tried controlling everything, tried being perfect. And it brought you here, exhausted, tired of fighting the world and yourself. True emotional immunity isn't hardness, it's clarity. Not creating armor, but expanding awareness. When you understand your triggers, patterns, wounds, others' actions lose their power to destroy you. You still feel, but don't drown. You still suffer, but don't lose yourself. What shields you isn't protecting yourself from life, it's diving into it deeply. Those living on the surface get hurt by any wave. Those who dive discover silence, stability, and power below. That's where you're headed. If this video awakened something within you, if you felt a stirring of recognition, write in the comments, "I choose awareness." Let's start a movement of people who refuse to survive by pretending to be strong, who choose instead to live with truth. The journey doesn't end here. Real transformation only begins when you don't stop at the first step. The next video continues this path because your liberation depends on going deeper. Are you ready to stop being a prisoner of your own unconscious? Are you ready to become truly untouchable? But choose now because your soul has been waiting long enough. Share if you know someone who needs to hear this. And remember, consciousness is the only revolution that actually works.